Hey, you guys, it's your boy Tavius with The Actors 411, and I would appreciate if you guys would go ahead and show me some love, like this video, subscribe, and push the bell for all notifications so that way when I drop another video, you guys will be the first to know. All right, so you guys, today what we're going to talk about is Trump's second impeachment. Some have said, well, what did they expect putting the Antichrist in the White House? And that comes from the internet being on fire and being upset from what happened. I mean, who can blame them? You know, I was upset as well. Democrats in the House of Representatives on Tuesday evening released the final text of their resolution to impeach President Donald Trump, charging him with incitement of insurrection. The House voted 232 to 197 to impeach Trump, exactly 1 week after rioters forced lawmakers to flee from the very chamber in which they cast ballots in during the fourth presidential impeachment in the U.S. history. This is the first time a president has been impeached twice. House approved a single charge citing his role in whipping up a mob that stormed the Capitol. He faces a Senate trial that could disqualify him from future office. And I have to say, you guys, with something like this going on, I agree with it. You know, you shouldn't be able to run again or hold any office with what just happened. Like, that was very ridiculous. And I just want to say my condolences goes out to the loved ones who lost their loved ones pretty much in that Capitol nonsense. You know, it's so sad, and my condolences goes out to the family of those victims. It is very, very sad. And, you know, the top House Republican, Representative Kevin McCarthy of California, conceded in a pained speech on the floor that Mr. Trump had been to blame for the deadly assault at the Capitol. It had forced the vice president and lawmakers who had gathered there to formalize Mr. Biden's victory to flee for their lives. The president bears responsibility for Wednesday's attack. And so they're going to, I guess, go ahead and do the impeachment before they worry about, I know everyone's up in arms with stimuluses and, you know, getting your money. And I'm just like you guys. We need our money. I want my money. But at the same time, we do have to get a hold of this nonsense, because inciting violence against the government of the United States, you know, that is beyond what I can even, I won't even go down that rabbit hole. But I will say, you know, like I said, this is a crazy time. And right now, I know everyone's mental health is all over the place, which is very important for you guys to make sure you take some time for yourself, you know, to get your mental right, because this just makes no sense. So, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys hear from other people that had something very important to say and give you guys more information. I'll come back with my commentary a little bit later. All right? So here you go, you guys.
Fog of mayhem dissipates. The full picture of the terror of the crisis that took place in the nation's capital on Wednesday is coming into focus. First of all, we should say this. There is a death toll which now stands at 5. And we should note that is one greater than the number of Americans who died in the attack on the U.S. government buildings in Benghazi over 8 years ago. The last time an American government building was overrun by a rampaging and violent mob. And that led to more than 2 years of investigations, dozens of congressional hearings. 4 of the people who were killed as a result of the Capitol attack appear to have been rioters themselves, one of whom was shot in the neck by police as she and others attempted to break into the speaker's lobby just outside the House chamber, as you can see in this video. The most recent casualty of the mob that the president and other Republicans incited is Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick. He's a 42-year-old veteran. According to reporting, Officer Sicknick was struck with a fire extinguisher amidst the chaos on Wednesday. He succumbed to his injuries last night. And that means the U.S. Capitol is now the site of a homicide investigation, among other things. What we saw happen on Wednesday was the apparent murder of a police officer by members of a mob incited and directed to the Capitol by the President of the United States, who hoped they would successfully intimidate members of Congress out of certifying the rightful Democratic victory of his political opponent. And we all watched this terrible spectacle unfold live on television. The images broadcast were largely not the most horrifying ones of the day. Much of what we saw was silly costumes, people taking selfies and grabbing the speaker's lectern. Looked kind of like a group that might even attend a Trump boat parade. But there was something way, way darker, more violent, more sinister, and more organized happening in that Capitol on Wednesday. And it's time we see it clearly. As crowds were gathering on the east side of the Capitol in the early afternoon, you'll remember that Republican Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri walked by giving a supportive fist bump on his way in to object to the Electoral College results, to vote against Pennsylvania seating their electors who voted for Joe Biden. And after the rioters broke in, we got eyewitness accounts of people marauding through Capitol Hill looking for the vice president. A Reuters editor saying he heard at least 3 different rioters at the Capitol say they hope to find Vice President Mike Pence and execute him by hanging him from a Capitol Hill tree as a traitor. Indeed, one of the insurrectionists erected a gallows with a noose right outside the Capitol. This is a video of a crowd chanting, "Hang Mike Pence," while Pence, the vice president, was in the Capitol, had to be taken to a secure location because he had failed to do the thing that Donald Trump told that crowd of people, that mob, that Mike Pence had to do or face consequences, or face their wrath. Here's some more footage. This is of an AP photographer being attacked as he covered the riots. He gets shoved around the crowd as it descends on him. Eventually, he's pulled to safety by a cooler-headed Trump supporter, luckily, or Lord knows what would have happened to that man. We're also hearing firsthand accounts of the terror from other members of the press. Erin Schaff, staff photographer of the New York Times, writes that she was in the Capitol Rotunda when suddenly 2 or 3 men in black surrounded me and demanded to know who I worked for.
All right, you guys. So now we're going to go into a little bit of the stimulus. So check this out, and I'll come back later with my commentary.
Material on the bill under consideration.
Without objection, so ordered.
I yield myself so time as I might consume.
The gentleman is recognized for such time as he may consume.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We are here today at a moment of extreme hardship for families across the country. Last week, both the House and the Senate passed bipartisan legislation that would provide relief for people who are struggling to make ends meet. That package includes a wide variety of provisions that will allow Americans who are at the end of their ropes to stay in their homes and to put food on the table. Despite the fact that the Trump administration was part of the negotiations for the legislation and approved of all the measures that it contained, the president unexpectedly decided to delay signing the package into law for several days. This stalling was an act of theater that cost the American people millions of dollars in terms of pandemic-related unemployment assistance that they desperately need. Fortunately, last night, the president finally signed the bill, and at last workers and families can exhale a bit knowing that aid is on the way.
All right, you guys. So now we're going to check out what Ron has to say. He goes a little bit in depth with it. Here goes.
Inauguration Day, and only a day away from unveiling President Biden's or President-elect Joe Biden's stimulus plan. Now, you heard it right. Wednesday is the day. But believe it or not, people are still disagreeing with this matter. Now, before I go into the details on that one, let's start off with Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell's statement, which he says now is not the time to be fiscally conservative. He's literally giving permission to spend money. Now, this is in relationship to Joe Biden's multi-trillion-dollar stimulus plan. Now, he noted that we are actually spending practically what's been identified as free money, so to speak, right? So Congress needs to spend the money now while the rates are so low.
All right. And as some of you guys may know, one of the Trump supporters, Angela Staton, she has her own show. And so this is what she had to say about the situation. All right, you guys. So here goes. Check it out.
What's up, everybody? Thank you guys for tuning in again this morning. Of course, this was unscripted. We didn't schedule a show time. You guys know I just hop on here when I feel like there's something that the masses needed to hear. So as you guys can see, I got my coon hat on this morning. So whenever I have my coon hat on, that means I'm getting ready to make some black folks upset. In fact, I'm finna get ready to make them so upset that they'll probably be calling me coon for the next 3 months. I wanted to talk about what happened at the Capitol. I wanted to talk about whether or not the insurrection was actually a planned attack. I myself believe that it was, but I came across a video that young Pharaoh did on yesterday. Well, actually, he did it 2 days ago. This man broke this down so good. I said, you know what? There is nothing else that needs to be said. I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to get up this morning. I'm going to put my coon hat on, and I am going to share young Pharaoh's full live stream. Listen, y'all, when I tell you the man break it down so eloquently, you understand where I'm coming from? He gives you everything that you need to know in regards to Hillary Clinton, the Obamas, everything that's going on. We're going to get into young Pharaoh's video this morning. Let's hear it.
Where are we at in the world today? I'll tell you. We are at a place where racism is being used to confuse.
Racism being used to confuse. Come on, Pharaoh.
Being used to confuse.
Teach the children.
Let me tell y'all what y'all about to expect, right? I mean, what y'all can expect. We're going to talk about how the Capitol was staged. Yes. We're going to talk about how Nancy Pelosi's laptop was extracted. Yes. We're going to talk about all of that. But what I really want people to realize is the reason you don't see it is because you have a blindfold over your eye that's invisible.
Nah, I don't believe that a lot of people don't see it. It's a lot of people probably don't want to see it, and some people probably don't want to go down that rabbit hole. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I have to slightly disagree with that.
And how can I say this, right? If you can't beat somebody, you have to create ways where you can beat them. So what if I can't physically beat you in a fight? I can cut the lights off. I might can fight better in the dark than you. So basically, without knowledge, you can't see in the dark. And if you can't see in the dark, you can't fight in the dark. And so the point of where I'm going with this is the media is using things that really do exist and then applying them to situations where they do not exist, and then getting you to subscribe to that artificial, non-realistic problem, and you're fighting something that does not exist. Therefore, you cannot see what actually exists.
All right, so I have to slightly disagree with this as well, because it's not that I don't believe people are not seeing what exists. I believe it's that one of those things where, I don't know if you guys had the same experience, but me growing up, my mother always said, pick your battles, choose your battles. You know, some battles just aren't worth fighting. So, excuse me, I don't think it's that they can't see it. I just think that they're choosing their battles.
If y'all follow me here. So let me give you an example, right? This is racism. Racism exists. What the media is doing is they're saying, oh, the problem with this phone right here is racism. But that's not the real problem with this phone. The problem with this phone is that it's dead. But I'm telling you that racism is the problem with this phone.
And I'm sorry, you guys. Again, I have to disagree, because this is all just his assumptions. He's assuming that we all just believe exactly what we're told. We all just fold into whatever story the media is giving us, and that is not true. We all do our own research, but we all know what we've seen and what's recorded and what's shown. So there's that as well, sir.
So what's happening is I'm finessing you behind your back, and I'm selling phones that are not dead, and you don't see me doing that because you too focused on the phone that is dead, because your real problem is racism. And you don't realize that you are fighting your problem outside of the arena in which it exists. Everything has an arena. Every battlefield has a battlefield. It's like you trying to play basketball on a hockey on a.
Okay, and I do have to agree with a few people on the live that was saying that he was using some really horrible analogies to make his point. I totally agree with that because I feel like it's natural to question things. Of course, that's what we do by nature. But be careful not to create a false narrative. It's okay to be scared. That's a natural human emotion. But to create a false narrative and say something is what it isn't, you're just creating speculation. And what you're saying is just rumors. They're telling you to wake up. But wake up to what? Your teachings, your beliefs. And a lot of people don't want to see. It's not that they can't see, it's just that they don't want to see what you want them to see. So when you're saying wake up, see what's going on, you're asleep. No, they're probably not asleep. They're just not woke to what you're spouting. What you believe in, and that's okay. That's what makes the world go round. That we're all different. So I'm not trying to discredit young Pharaoh for anything because all of this is just his opinions. This is just how he feels. The same thing as what I'm doing right now. This is just my opinion, and I disagree with most of the things that he's saying on this because it's like I feel like it's almost creating a false narrative. Like you're telling us not to believe them, that we should believe you. But what are you giving, and what have you shown that tells us that you're right and they're wrong? We do know that the media has a certain there's certain thing that they do because it's their job. Like, we know not to believe everything in the media. You have that common sense as an adult when you get older to know what to believe, what not to believe, and what to play into and what not to play into. So we only go so far in this political battle, but some things like storming the Capitol and doing all that crazy recklessness, most of us, I want to say most of us are not about that. Like how people were scaling these walls like Kim Possible and just going crazy. That's not what a lot of us is about. So, yeah. So, here you go, you guys. Back to him.
In a hockey arena. You try to play football on a damn tennis court. And so what's happening is the government is causing problems in every single community. And then they taking the problems that they causing and blaming the origins of them problems in other communities. And now we coming out of our communities fighting motherfuckers that's not really the problem because we trust in the person that is telling us where the problem is coming from so much that we're not even questioning if they the motherfucking problem.
Come on now, you better preach.
And so I'm going to tell you why you're not questioning the person that's the problem. And I got to give you this intro before I go in because you got to realize why you don't see this shit. I'm going to say this in the nicest way that I can possibly say it. The reason you don't see the problem is because you pussy. Yes, you pussy. Straight up. There is no other intelligence. It's straight up. You pussy. And you might say, well, what you mean you pussy? You do not question things because you are fearful. You are fearful. You fearful of everything. You fearful of the person you questioning. You fearful of the answer you might get. You fearful of the shit you don't want to hear. You fearful of the shit you don't want to know. And so a lot of y'all don't see the truth in front of you because you're not strong enough to look at it. You afraid of the face of the truth. You afraid of this motherfucker. So that's why you don't see it. Because you afraid to say, damn, is the authority figure in my life really the criminal? Huh? You afraid to question, motherfucker. You don't question nothing in your reality. You don't actually ask yourself, damn, is motherfucking actors only on TV? Or are actors actually in political seats? Damn, if the CIA got an office in Hollywood, do Hollywood got an office in the CIA?
Come on now.
You're not asking questions. So you're not finding answers because your brain ain't working. So let us seek so that we shall find. Straight up. Now let me jump in. Let me tap in. Let me tap in with y'all. Okay? So stop being afraid. Stop being afraid It ain't illegal to ask a motherfucking question. It ain't illegal to tell a motherfucker they gotta earn your trust. It ain't illegal to have. But let me say this too before I stop, because I got a lot of shit. I ain't been on here. I got a lot of shit I want to say. It's not illegal to have standards. It's not illegal to make a motherfucker have to earn your trust. It's not illegal to make somebody have to prove that they are who they say they are. It's not nothing wrong with that. You don't gotta feel like you a bad person for making somebody prove to you that they are who they say. You don't gotta feel bad about that. I just want to put that on the record. If Joe Biden is saying he got our best interest at hand, why have you not proved? It's not nothing wrong for saying, nigga, you ain't proved, nigga, I don't believe you. It's not nothing wrong with not wanting to deal with somebody. It's not illegal to tell somebody, I don't want to deal with you. I don't fuck with you. I don't like you. That's not illegal. It don't make you a bad person. Until somebody show you who they are through their actions, and it's consistent, and it builds up or already has a history of consistency, you are not obligated to accept that person into your life. It doesn't matter who the fuck that person is. A citizen, a police, a president, a motherfucking alien. I don't give a fuck who it is. Until they prove to you that they mean genuine good by you, you do not have to accept nobody in your motherfucking life. It don't matter how much money they make. It does not matter. And I feel like a lot of y'all are not harnessing y'all power. And this is why you can't see evil, because you're not doing good by yourself and for yourself. If you was doing good for yourself, you would see every motherfucker that don't mean you no good. And the reason you don't see the people in this world who don't mean you no good is because you doing shit to yourself that don't mean no good to your own self. You're not eating right. And you might say, Farrell, well, why is that important? Because if you was eating healthy, you would see all the unhealthy shit out here.
Come on now.
You would question, who the fuck is putting this shit out here? And it would lead you right to the people you need to see. You're not doing right by nature. You might say, well, Farrell, I don't want to hear that. Why you would? Bitch, if you was doing right by nature, you would see who the fuck is destroying nature. Since you're not doing right, you're not seeing right. And since you're not seeing right, you're not seeing wrong. So if you don't see no good in your own self, you can't see it outside yourself. If you don't know the bad that's in you, and you can't discipline yourself away from your own bad behavior, you can't see another person's bad behavior. So I just want to let y'all know that's why y'all motherfuckers cannot see what's going on. Because you can't even see what's going on in your own self. If you just littering and throwing shit on the floor, why the fuck would you give a fuck about pollution when you don't even care about the state of your own front porch or backyard? You see how this go? So you got to start off small in order to gain
All right, so that's what he had to say about that. So you guys, here go more information on the impeachment.
Just 7 days before he's set to leave anyway. I do not see how that unifies the country.
President Trump out of sight again today. But in the wake of last week's riots, the PGA announced its canceled plans to hold the 2022 PGA Championship at President Trump's Bedminster, New Jersey Golf Club. First Lady Melania Trump breaking her silence, expressing her condolences to the families of those who died and calling for calm. Our nation must heal in a civil manner, she writes. Violence is never acceptable. A potential Senate trial to remove President Trump would likely happen after he's already gone from office. But President-elect Biden tonight insists it would not interrupt his first 100 days.
Can you go half day on dealing with the impeachment and half day getting my people nominated and confirmed in the Senate?
Abruptly announced that he is stepping down, but Wolf did not cite last week's riots in his resignation message. Lester?
All right, Peter, thank you. And that leads us to our Capitol Hill correspondent, Casey Hunt. Casey, any indication if Republicans will join Democrats in pushing for impeachment?
Lester, late tonight on a conference call, top House Republican Kevin McCarthy said for the first time that President Trump does bear some responsibility for the Capitol riot and didn't rule out censuring the president. But so far,
okay, obviously, you guys, I was a little late on this, so you guys already know pretty much what happened up until this point. And I believe that whatever happened needs to happen. Everyone's doing their job and doing what they're supposed to do, hopefully. But from this point on, I just want there to be peace. Peace in the Middle East. No, well, peace altogether. So, okay, you guys, I really appreciate you giving me your time again. And I'm going to go ahead and end this video. So again, don't forget to hit that like, notifications, and the bell, because you get all notifications to let you know when I have the next video. And I will catch you guys later. This is Martavius, host of The Actors 411, and I'm out.